Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1718 of our daily content grind. So this is not a pleasant topic, I will fully admit, and you can tell it's not a pleasant topic because we have the new Studio Series Astro Train on the screen at the moment. But it is a necessary topic and is something I'm genuinely curious about. Curious to the point where I've left a link to a straw poll in the description below. Normally only do that for the versus videos, but this isn't really a versus. I literally just have a curiosity that needs to be quenched. So if you could do that for me at the end of the video, I would genuinely appreciate that. The debate here, or the question I am posing here, are, do Transformers still have magic to them? And I ask this because I've had more and more encounters with other people on socials where they kind of feel disappointed in the Transformer product they're getting. And I kind of find that happening to myself as well. I mean, it's why I'm more picky about what I review these days. I want it to be something I'm genuinely happy with rather than just the thing I picked up recently. So a really good example of this is the brand new Studio Series Astro Train. A lot of people are disappointed by this, and I am among them. Do I think the train mode is good? Yes. Do I think the train mode is so good that it is worth letting the shuttle and the robot mode suffer? Absolutely not. We've beaten this dead horse a lot on this channel. I've done a review of a third-party Legends class Astro Train that does everything I would ever expect a modern Astro Train toy to do, and looks far better in all modes. And this is supposedly, let me indicate correctly, this is supposedly the best designers in the world creating the best iterations of Transformer characters in the world, and it just doesn't feel like that. You know, it feels sloppy. It feels half-baked. It feels like this needed a few more passes in development. At the very least, you could have painted it more. We do acknowledge in the process of this that we are getting less for more, right? Like we acknowledge that the toys are not as fancy and nice as they used to be, but that doesn't mean they can't have magic to them. And we're going to show you examples. So for starters, the number one thing, this is the conversation I had over on Blue Sky that kind of made me think about this topic. And it was over Power Glide. So my buddy Andy got Power Glide, and he kind of had the same vibe going on that I did of like, yeah, like it's Power Glide, but that's basically it. You know, like it's not doing anything terribly impressive. It's just as Power Glide by the numbers as you could possibly get. It does mean that there is a little bit of sloppiness to it, you know, like his shoulders are underneath the wings along with his forearms, which makes him look like he's got these giant cones under his wings, and they don't really seem to care about that. The engines are located directly behind the wings, which is not how those engines should be mounted. And it really would have just taken like an extra hinge in order to fix that. And that's just not accounted for. So it feels like the toy is just kind of doing just enough to count as a modern mold for Power Glide, and that's it. The Easter eggs are cute, but I don't know. Like I messed with this toy and just kind of went, yeah, that's exactly what I expected out of Power Glide. You know? See, the contrast I'm thinking back here, and it's a toy I talk up a lot on this channel because I still love this toy. If we take a toy like Titans Return Topspin, okay? So Power Glide is a series character who had episodes entirely dedicated to him. So I would expect a lot put into that toy in order to reflect that. I do not expect much to be put into a toy like Topspin. Topspin was a comic book character, and really just the UK comic books. He never appeared in the cartoons. So when the idea came up of a brand new toy for him, I just look at your old toy, and that's the only source material to go by and go, yeah, sure, let's update that. It's a flip changer. It's a one-step transformer from the 80s. But look what they did. Like, you have a robot mode that is a beautiful modernization of the original. You have a vehicle mode that is a beautiful modernization of the original. And through all of it, you have a fascinating transformation. I still think the transformation on this toy is a lot of fun. And there was absolutely no reason to go this hard on a top spin toy of all things. So honestly, this is still kind of my standard for, just because you're confined to a certain size or budget, it doesn't mean you can't do something clever with it. You're talking to someone whose desk figure, and it just keeps returning to the desk, is Air Razor, the core series one from Rise of the Beasts. Because this is a budget deluxe. This was going to be like $20 at retail instead of $27. And it's brilliant. As a toy, it's really clever. It wears its budget with pride, almost to show off how good it can be despite how little engineering budget went into it. And I still love that toy. And it's proof that you can do it. Someone just has to put the effort in. It's not to say the toys aren't all bad. Let's not get that mixed up here. So there are still the occasional figures that go, wow, that's actually really, really cool and fun to play with. And the Megatronus version of The Fallen is absolutely one of them. This is a fantastic toy, right? Like, the accessory count is great. The detail and paint is great. It's big and satisfying, very solid, good transformation. This is just a really, really good toy. But for a $55 figure at the time of release, I would expect that, right? You pay more for a better toy. That's supposed to be how it works, correct? But even that, these days, is not always true. Our previous Titan is still a very disappointing toy for me. It's a big Optimus Prime, and it's an iconic design because it's Star Convoy. It's Optimus Prime from G1 in his most powerful form of them all. And it's okay. Like, genuinely, it's just okay. If this came out as a leader or commander, I would expect to do exactly as much as it's doing as a Titan. It really only gets there because of the extra accessory count. There's blast effects, there's a matrix blade thing, whatever. You've got the trailer, which really doesn't do anything anymore, but they threw it in. The little core hot rod Micromaster guy, like, okay, you threw in a bunch of extra stuff. But really, this was $160, going down in price for the Titan because this was smaller. But it really just feels like it's just doing exactly what it had to do, The transformation is not far off from the original, and the base mode still looks like the Church of Optimus Prime. For $160 on a modern toy, I would expect something else. Like, I would expect the base mode to have more conversion to it, so it can actually seem more like an actual base rather than just the Optimus Shrine. I would expect the trailer to detach from the truck like every other Optimus Prime, so it could stand as an independent vehicle. Something like that. Anything like that. None of that actually comes to pass. It is by the books, the original toy with articulation and more accessories. They didn't even throw in a second trailer. What other character are they going to do that will actually connect to an American audience that would actually include another trailer to fit in the other leg? What, you're going to do Grandus? You're going to do Sky Gary? No, you're not. So, yeah, like, it just felt disappointing. It just felt disappointing. Now, to show you another comparison, yes, modern toys can be good. The brand new 86 Thundercracker, I think, is a fantastic mold. Flaws on this toy are nitpicks at best. It's just a very clean, animation accurate Seeker all the way around. And it's not just a recycle of the Classics toy. And even though I like the Classics toy, I am kind of tired of the Classics toy. So this is good. This is good, like, we needed a brand new Seeker mold at this point, just to freshen it up. It needed it. So what happened to this Thundercracker, I ask you? This mold, originally Starscream, but this mold should have been so much better than it ended up being. I like the original molds. I like the original deluxe that came out for Fall of Cybertron. This was not a bad toy in the least. And then just kind of nothing. It's kind of nothing. Like this just feels lacking. Like, from the weird proportions, especially in the cockpit, like what I find is just like a kind of dull transformation. Like, this is not a very exciting toy. Like, it doesn't like resonate the same way. Like, even for like fans of the game, I felt like this toy disappointed people. And now, granted, outside of the first Optimus Prime figure that released, I think most of Gamer Edition kind of did that. But that only serves to prove the point more. Maybe, like, is there magic to Transformers still? Or are they losing their magic in general? Sometimes it feels like they're losing their magic because we have so many molds that are close enough. That new animated Wreck-Gar. As you watch this video, I am gearing up to go to a Weird Al Yankovic concert tomorrow. I'm super excited for it. However, I was debating getting him to autograph an animated Wreck-Gar, and the cheapest I could find on eBay was $140. And like right now, with like my budget's going to bigger projects right now, and the ticket was already expensive enough, I really did not want to part with that much money for like what would have been a really cool autograph. And then I stared this one. I just saw this one in a store today. And my brain said, like, well, you could get him to sign that. My brain immediately said, no. No. They made it animated Wreck-Gar just because it was kind of close. And we're getting back to this. Like, there's an idea, like, in the 2000s, like, especially 2010 era of generations, there's this spirit of, well, this mold's close enough to this character. We can make it as a toy. But we're beyond that now. Like, while it gives you some fun iterations of some characters, you want the accuracy that Generation 1 gets. Like, G1 characters get dead accurate toys. If you're fans of other generations, you get whatever they're willing to shove out there. And that's really unfortunate. Case in point, most of the times we see this mold. Now, granted, this is a good mold. But I think Hasbro realizes it's a good mold, so they never move on from this mold. This goes back to the definitive version debate. Can you really make a Sideswipe toy that's better than this one? So why would you, when you could just rerun this figure in a slightly different deco? But we've now seen this as multiple characters. And it's not the only mold. The poor Crankcase mold has been so many different characters from so many different universes. It's been Cannonball, it's been Medics. I feel like it's gonna be. I still feel like it's gonna be Cybertron, Red Alert at some point. That mold just bounced around so much, and like right along with this one, when we have so many characters represented by the same mold, they aren't going to feel as special anymore. On the second time I transform like a figure, okay, I'm still into this, right? But by the time I have like 6 or 7 that all transform the same way, but Hasbro just decided the mold was close enough, we'll just use that, it just doesn't feel like you're trying anymore, And like, especially when the mold is a stretch. Now, when it comes to even modern stuff, we can experience this exact same whiplash effect of, yeah, sometimes you can still get good stuff. Arachnid is an engineering marvel at the deluxe class. But that does still mean we get things like the one Orion Pax, which I think is actually a pretty shoddy figure, and it gets by on just having a massive accessory packed into the box. This one is your current A-level Optimus Prime, so prepare to see this on a store shelf until the end of the year, when they are inevitably clearanced out for less than half their original price. It's another figure that's like, okay, it's just good enough to count as a character, right? It's not a remold of anything, but as far as new molds go, It's just something that had to exist, almost like it was pressured into existence because it's a version of Optimus Prime that had an entire movie based around him. They want representation of said style of design and toy. Fine. And we fall into that trap a lot these days of toys that just kind of have to exist because of their own choices. And that, again, doesn't make them feel special anymore. Venom is a great example of that. They had remolds in mind for all of the Insecticons, which is why we got Insecticons in the first place. Those remolds being the deluxe Insecticons. And I will grant you, those are minor characters, and the molds from the original Insecticons, with enough retooling, can work well enough. So I completely understand that. I get it in this case. And at least they only used one each, right? Only one reuse each. But then it comes time for Venom. And, like, you have to do the complete set. You can't just do 3 of the deluxe Insecticons and just leave one out. But that means Venom needs a completely new mold because no one's going to come close to Venom's design. Even if you can come up with some other kind of cicada, mosquito, fly, or just whatever kind of bug transformer would fit that design. The robot mode doesn't suit anyone else, especially because of how the wings are handled on the design. So you're left with just kind of throwing it out there. I mean, Venom to me felt like a toy that no one at Hasbro was really passionate about. No one was really, like, terribly interested in making this a really, really cool figure. It feels, again, like Power Glide. By the books, exactly what it had to be. And it is just kind of a toy that I don't really see anyone talk about. Like, it came out, people got it, completed their set, and after they took the group photo of all their plastic bugs, pretty much stopped talking about it at that point. And then we move on. I started also feeling like something I talked about before was getting more and more prominent. And that is getting toys that are not better than the original. Is the new Big Convoy toy better than the Beast Wars Neo figure? Honestly, like, be honest here. Because aside from the fact that they added, like, a kickstand to the cannon, I'm hard pressed to find where the improvements are. Like, yes, like, there's a little bit more going on in the transformation, but because the cartoon accuracy still has to be there and the cartoon took the kibble into account, it still has to have the same style of engineering and the overall look happening. And the things that they did with the original toy to make the kibble look cool just don't exist on the new mold. Like, especially when it comes to the shoulder kibble, which I love the look on the original toy of these massive missile pods over his shoulders. And this one has that, but they're so diminished, they don't look cool anymore. You know, and really, like the modern touches you would expect, like higher level of articulation, it's there, but not by much. Big Convoy was pretty articulated. He could pretty much do whatever you wanted him to do. And the new one just only adds a little bit. So again, I kind of feel like this plays a part as well. It doesn't feel as special when I can pick up the original one and have more fun. And granted, a big part of it is also the fact that the brand itself kind of putting out a lot of junk product too. I don't mind a Cyber World figure as just a desktop fiddle figure, but we do acknowledge it is a very cheap toy. Like, any given toy from that line is decidedly a very cheap toy. And it does kind of hurt your overall vision of the Transformers as a brand. And it also kind of highlights something else that I feel like is going on here. Part of me genuinely wonders if the reason for this isn't because there's just so much out right now, right? You know, we've got 3 toy lines being produced on a consistent basis between Studio Series, Generations, and whatever cartoon line or movie line is going on at the time, where they have to design a whole bunch of little kid toys as well. And that doesn't even account for things like Masterpiece, Collaborative, Selects, and everything else going on in the franchise. I feel like there's only, keep in mind, we've only got the same round of designers we always have. I mean, I'm sure they've added a name or two, but we're putting out like 3 times the product for a toy line that has maybe like, a few extra people handling it all. I honestly question if, is it just too much? Are we getting like toys that have like 2 or 3 undone passes in development, all because they have to just call it done and move on because there's so much to work on and develop now? And this is where I kind of like question the whole process. Now, I will admit, one of the things that brought this up, and one of the things that made me think about this was my current obsession with metal cardboard. Yeah, these toys coming out as good as they are really does make me kind of look back and go, man, like we could have that. I want to point out, you can get Steel Hook, the pirate ship metal cardbot on Big Bad Toy Store right now for $40. It is bigger and more solidly built than a modern leader class toy, who is $20 more expensive. And it has a big gimmick accessory that adds to the play value. And it's very heavily painted on top of all that. And it features ratchet joints. And I just look at what Hasbro is offering you and what other companies are now offering in the US and go, why don't we have this? Why don't we have like ratcheted joints and solid construction? If this company, like if I don't know if it's SAMG or SAMG, what the company behind Metal Cardbot, if they are profiting off of those numbers, how is it possible the Transformers are as expensive as they are? What are they doing differently in this Korean line that is making them so much more affordable? We'll leave out anything potentially human right violating, because I know someone's going to make that argument the second I put that out in the world. The point is, it's becoming more clear that Transformers is losing that magic because I'm seeing other companies take that magic from them. And it's getting more and more obvious. So this is my viewpoint right now. Like, I've picked up a lot of Transformers lately that just kind of make me feel kind of like, like it fills a slot or it's a character that I didn't have. But for the most part, like, they're not as joyful as they used to be. Now, I know, thanks to Cardbot and the occasional really good Transformer, still love this, so it's not me just like burning out. So this is why I want your opinion. So like I said, in the description, you're going to find a link to a straw poll, and it's not an official debate video. We'll probably talk about it on the results on my Blue Sky, maybe in about a week or so. For the most part, I'm just really curious is all. So let me know. I'm eager to hear from you, and I'm eager to get as many voices and inputs on this as I can. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.